The long-dated U.S. Treasury yields have been going absolutely bonkers, just skyrocketing. Where exactly could they peak out? Where do those bond prices bottom? And what does that mean for things like TLT and TMF? I want to take a look at that in this video and share what I found with you for where we could find that potential bottom and when things turn around, because I think when they do, that we're going to see a substantial gain in those areas, and I think that creates opportunity. And speaking of opportunities, if you guys want to check out the link for the Discord down in the description, you'll find me and the other panel experts where we share our thoughts, insights, technicals, trades, you name it, over with a community of thousands of members already there to support each other in the pursuit of financial freedom. So guys, I'll tell you more about that later. In the meantime, I do want to get into the charts on this. So the very first chart that I have for you is let's go with the US 10-year Treasury yield. And you can see the last couple of days that it's had, we're finally getting a long wick up here as we get close to about 4.5%. Well, if we take a look, let's go to the monthly chart to see where this peak is happening for us right now. And I'll tell you what, that is an ugly look right now, because that could be a bull pennant shaping up for us. So we got to watch for that. Now, mind you, the other peaks that we have, and this is the monthly chart, everything that's higher before this goes back into the 1980s. More recently, because remember, this is the monthly chart, so ever since 2008, we've been pretty much below the 4.1% mark, with only the most recent rise really pushing us up to these highs, and we closed above it for the first time in September of 23, peaked in October of 23, and that came out to about 5%. So maybe we get that 0.5% higher for the 10-year Treasury yield. If that is the case, that's where you can see that rapid decline coming in. So if we put some trend lines on this, just across the peaks of this thing, there we go. Now, mind you, we don't have a third touch here, but a third touch would confirm that trend line, although we do have this bottom one right here. And there we go. So there we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches on that bottom trend line for this thing. Bit of a consolidation with a bullish bias on that. Not necessarily great for Treasury prices themselves. So we'll see what we get out of that. Now, mind you, we do want to keep an eye on the fact that those yields are going up, but the momentum before them is going down. That's bearish divergence. You can treat it sort of like what you would do for stock charts or crypto charts. So for that one, we could see that weakness come in soon. I think that weakness would happen sooner than the strength of it. I think things would be, the wheels would fall off the cart if we watch those Treasury yields spike to the upside, especially if we got several percent added on. That would be something pretty disastrous for the U.S. economy, the U.S. stock market. So we don't want to see the yields go up in that way. Now, mind you, that's because of the debt burden that the U.S. is already under, that would really put some scares into the market. If we see a flight to safety move, we could see these yields depressed from where they're at right now. Here's the 20-year Treasury yield, and you can see we have two other peaks, but most recently in October of 23 and then January of 25, and we happen to be pretty darn even before retracing with that January 25 peak. So it is possible right now that we're getting a near-term top for that, and we're looking at the weekly chart at the moment. If we go down to the daily chart, you get a little bit more detail, and here this morning, hitting about 5% for the 20-year Treasury yield, which is about where we peaked out the last time. But if we go back a little bit further until we get back to October of 23, we peaked at about 5.4% for the 20-year US Treasury. Now, moving over to TLT, we had this inverse head and shoulders, and I thought, hey, breaking up over this. Now, mind you, I did adjust this trend line this before. Let me put it on the original one on here for you. There we go, because I do update my technicals over time. There we are. So the neckline that I had for this was right across here. And so we got one candle up above it and then just sold off wildly. And this could be a mixture of hedge funds closing out some positions, maybe selling U.S. Treasuries, maybe shorting the U.S. Treasuries. Either one of those things is likely. And then also China maybe also retaliating against the U.S. with the 104% tariff on imports from China, and then, dumping the U.S. Treasuries, the U.S. dollar, if you will, as a result of that, and then tanking the bond prices that we see here. Now, recently, we had a bottom of around $85, just under that for TLT, and in the pre-market hours this morning, we're around 86.34. If we go out to the monthly chart on this, and let me take down the technicals, just so you can see more clearly what I'm looking at on this, we do have, there we go, we do have for this, a decrease in prices, but an increase in momentum, but have not crossed over 50. I think the wild time is coming for U.S. Treasuries where we start to break to the upside on this. So we got a bit of a bullish divergence happening for the bond prices for the 20-year Treasury, and we are near historic bottoms for that. So these bottoms that you see back in here are in the early 2000s, going all the way back to 2002, and then the last time that we had a bottom down here around the low 80s, and right now we're in the high 80s for price, actually 86.5, so we'll say mid to high 80s, if you will. The last time that we came down to this price was in June of 07, before we had a wild increase in those bond prices over time. As the demand for the US dollar increased over that time, and you had the Fed buying those treasuries to help keep the bond rates down near zero for a time. So look at what we have happening more recently is that we have demand near the bottom for that US debt, at least the bottom as far as we would know it. And we actually dropped down to a bottom in this on October 23, and that bottom price happened to be around $82. So we could see another 5% give up from where we're at right now for these long-term treasuries. So maybe it could happen to take us down to that previous bottom. Honestly, let me put the technicals back up here for you for a moment, and I want to pay a lot of attention. Let me drop some of these out of here so we can see just more of the near-term stuff. So let me click on that, and I'll click that. There we go. That'll subtract out a lot of those other rays, and we can really focus on these other rays that we have on here. Let me see. I want that one back, and we'll take this one down. Perfect. So this is what we're looking at right now from a longer term perspective for this top trend line and this bottom trend line. And we're darn near support right now in today's pre-market. So we'll see if we do happen to bottom out. I think that we're not far away from a turnaround. Now, mind you, 5% down for TLT is about 15% down for TMF, which now has gone from being up near $50 per share down to about 37. And the bottom that we had on this recently in January was around 36. And if we go back and we look at October of 23, once again, that was near about where we're at right now. So if we go out to a weekly chart and we'll take down the technicals, you can see a little bit more of the bottoming that we're in for TMF, triple leverage, the 20-year, TLT, I should say, which is tracking the 20-year US Treasury bond. So we could potentially be near a bottom now. As we get into a little bit more fear territory, if you will, I think it's going to shake out a lot of people before the real opportunity comes in. And so, guys, I will be tracking this stuff and more. I actually have a few stocks that I have written down right now. I'm going to be putting out technicals for them over at the Discord today. So if you want to make sure that you see those and see the other areas of opportunity, some from Russell 2000, I think there's a major opportunity coming for some of those stocks there. Matter of fact, if you go back and watch my other videos where I talk about where Russell 2000 is positioned in the bull channel that it's been in for over a decade, as a matter of fact, closing in actually on 2 decades, because we're about 17 years of a big bull channel on that. And right now we're currently just below it. So when the dust settles on that one, I think we're going to see some mega outperformance. But like I said, if you guys want to see my technicals, my trades, my market analyses, and also for the other panel experts as well, we all put it over together in the same place over at the Discord. Links in the description. And if you guys want to learn to do this technical analysis yourself, if you want to learn about trading using technicals with the bread recipe, if you want to learn about trading options, there's some coursework down in the description. You can click that, sign up, and these small, easy to digest courses, they really empower your ability to capture the alpha in your portfolio that you're looking for. So up above and beyond what the market could return to you typically. So that alpha, if you're looking for it, use the code word doctor when you sign up for those courses. If you bundle the courses, you save even more, by the way. So bundle the courses, use code word doctor. When you do, it supports the channel and you support yourself in that journey towards financial freedom. There's a Discord that goes along with those courses as well, where you can find that support that you're looking for. And if you're a member of the overall Discord, where all of us panel experts are together, when you sign up for that Discord, so just to be clear, there's a Discord that goes specifically with the courses to help us with specific support for the courses, and then a separate Discord where we all come together, sharing our thoughts, ideas, and really pushing that community forward. Thousands of members over there, best community I've ever been part of. And you guys, links are in the description. And I'll tell you what, you'll be very pleased to find what is over there waiting for you with the amount of products and services, including the bread bot, which is an automated version of the bread recipe, which can show you where massive moves are about to happen. And with the options course at your back, it can really help you out to capture those movements and really get outperformance in your portfolio. So take advantage of those opportunities to really fill out your ability to capture financial freedom. Guys, I really do appreciate you watching. Hit me up down in the comments to let me know what you think about those treasuries, about other stocks that I should be looking at, cryptos, you name it. I'll come back here to YouTube, talk about it more, so subscribe to make sure you don't miss anything. Ring the notification bell to make sure that you get notified. And also don't forget about the Discord. Come on over and join the thousands of members who have joined us already. And it's a growing population that we see more and more every day. We'd love to have you as part of it. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, that learning is earning. We'll see you next video.